Hey guys, in the wake of recent events, there's just been a lot on my mind, and rightfully so. So I just wanted to, come on here and just talk, without all of the lights. Okay, there are lights, but can you blame a sister? But without getting all done up in, hair and makeup. Okay, I did a little highlight and contour and filled in my brows a bit. I may or may not be wearing foundation, but you know what? That is besides the point. But all jokes, glam, and production aside, I just wanted to make this really simple, I guess, one-on-one between me and you guys because I am feeling all types of ways in the wake of this, for the lack of a better word, unexpected election. And, just share what I'm feeling with you guys and just let it out, I guess. And make like James Bay and just, let it go. Now, before I even hop into this video and talk about my feelings, it's really important to note that I very rarely, if ever at all, speak about politics, and that's primarily because I'm not one who pretends like she knows what's going on, and we can probably attribute that to all of the government classes I skipped in high school. Point blank, comma, and the period, when it comes to politics, I just don't get involved. And I think that's why it's so shocking to me now that I feel this type of way. But at the same token, I, like millions of other people in the United States, thought we were going to be waking up to our first female president. But we went wrong somewhere, and that didn't quite happen. And now that we're waking up to this reality that we thought was going to be a joke and couldn't have happened in a million years, now we actually have to deal with it. And in the aftermath, I find myself just reflecting on what it means now that we have this new president. And for the many posts throughout this campaign that I did pay attention to, everyone would just talk about how much of a disadvantage it would be for people of color, for women, for members of the LGBT community should Donald Trump get elected. And I'm all three. I woke up on November 9th as a transgender woman of color. And waking up as such kind of sent me into, I guess, a bigger reflection upon my life as this colored woman who happens to be transgender. It just hit me that I started my transition at the very beginning of Obama's very first term as president. So my whole life as being visually female, because we all know baby girl was residing inside for 18 years, just awaiting the day that she could come and slay and snatch y'all wigs off, has been spent alongside all of Obama's 8 years in office. And what that means is that the past 8 years hasn't just been a time of change for me, it was a time of change for the whole country. My feeling of being accepted was reinforced by all of the advancements we were making as a colored minority, as women, and as members and allies of the LGBT community. I was never afraid of the world outside because I felt accepted. I didn't have to worry about what bathrooms I had to go into or not getting a job that I was overly qualified for just because I was a Filipino transgender woman. And I like to attribute that to, I guess, my strength or the thickness of my skin that I've built over these past 8 years. But it goes without saying that it came hand in hand with a president who genuinely cared about all of the communities I belong to and their security and advancements in the free world. And the cherry on top, the icing on the cake, the pink bow at the top of the present is that I live in California, one of the obviously now only accepting states in the United States. And all of these things kind of just made me realize that maybe I was shielded, maybe I was blanketed from the world outside. And after seeing the results of the election, it just woke me up to a whole different reality. And as I go through the emotions and I'm trying to articulate to myself how I feel, the only conclusion I can come to is that I don't feel accepted. I don't feel free. I feel, for the lack of a better word, tolerated. And even that is an overstatement. If I can sum up what I'm feeling all wrapped up in one, I feel like I'm not even at home in my own house anymore. This election truly was a huge loss for people of color, for people of a certain religion, for women, and for all members of the LGBT community. But even putting myself aside, I keep thinking about, how do we tell our children? How do we tell our children of color? How do we tell our little girls that if they work hard and if they don't cut corners and if they are good people at heart with good morals and treat people with kindness, that they can be anything that they want to be, when in fact we're living in the country that doesn't care about any of that? How confusing is it for them to see someone who is more than qualified, who has so much experience and accolades under their belt and so many things to go on their resume, and have that get all overlooked simply out of sheer ignorance? And then you have the latter, somebody who doesn't care about people of different races, religion, sexual identities, or orientation, somebody who publicly denounces women yet gets the highest position in the United States. And I guess Hillary sent some wrong emails off of some wrong account. Again, I'm not going to get into that just because it's something that I don't know about or I don't know facts to. But y'all boyfriends and girlfriends lie to you all the time and you still with them. And by no means am I saying that lying is a trait or characteristic that the leader of our country should have, but at least we wouldn't feel like we were hated, and at least we wouldn't feel segregated or like an outcast or like an outsider looking in. People of color and different religious backgrounds, all women everywhere, and members of the LGBT community just took the fattest slap to the face and the biggest bullet to the heart. With this election, it's not even hidden anymore. It's not even subtle. It's not even discreet. It's in your face. And now there are reports of transgenders committing suicide all across America. And it just breaks my heart, because this life it doesn't come easy as it is. And it doesn't get any easier. You're dealt these cards at birth, and you kind of have to come to terms and learn within yourself to love and accept yourself. And then when you finally make that decision, then you have to teach the world how to accept you. And so you work really hard to be the person you want to be, and you try not to listen to what society thinks you should be as whatever it is or whoever it is you are. And you can finally dress the way you want and look the way you want and act and say and do all the things you want. And you're thinking that it's all okay in this day and time because it's 2016 and we're moving towards equality and we're making so much progress, only to walk out of your front door on November 9th, 2016, to only realize that you aren't accepted and you're not free. As hard as you've worked to live the life you want to live, to everyone you're still just a man in a dress or a man in the bathroom. And the worst feeling is, I guess, against my own self-esteem, just because I thought that I was accepted, and I thought that, if I could just be every woman I envisioned myself to be, and, just went for what I wanted, and I was happy, that it would all work itself out, only to just think that, what if I was like fooling myself? What if I created a delusion around me? I truly believe that who you are inside is what counts the most. And I think that no matter what, you should always go for what you want and what makes you happy. But it's times like these that make me realize, like, maybe it was just me. I almost feel like I failed. And if I am feeling this way, someone who prides herself on, the strength that I've built over the years, feel this way, what more can we say about the other transgender women out there, or transgender men that took their own lives. But regardless of how I feel and what I'm feeling in this exact moment, that doesn't change who I'm going to be today and tomorrow, and who I'm going to go to bed as, and who I'm going to look at in the mirror tomorrow morning and all the rest of my days. And as corny as it sounds, right now is a time to turn to love and to figure out how to be empathetic towards one another and to understand each other's struggles and help each other through it. Because right now is going to be the most trying time, and the only way out of it is just to stick together, to love one another, to accept one another, and to respect one another. Now that all is said and done, the only thing that we can do is just hope for the best and give him a chance and hope he leads us into a better tomorrow. And as angry as we are and as hurt as we are, because I understand that we are hurt, but right now is not a time to turn to anger. Right now is not a time to turn to hate or rioting in the streets. Right now is a time to turn to God and to turn to love and figure out how to move forward and keep learning how to be better and how to love ourselves. I believe it takes wake-up calls like this to kick us back into high gear and to not get comfortable and to keep pushing for a brighter tomorrow that's filled with acceptance, equality, and most of all, love. And if anything, I hope this stresses the importance of voting. And I hope this election encourages everybody 4 years from now to make sure that you get out there and that you vote and that you do it wisely. As much amusement or of a laugh that you probably got for voting for Harambe, the future of Americans of all races, religions, genders, orientations, and identities is not something to be taken lightly. As much of an eye-opener as this was, and as hurt as we are still strong. We are still resilient people, and we will come back from this, and we'll come back stronger. Our faith in God, I think, will be even bigger. And I think this is his call to all of us, because I truly believe that he does the things that aren't ideal, but the things that we need just to bring us back, and this might be it. I personally have decided that I'm not going to change for anything or anyone. I'm not going to feel any less of a woman who's proud to have brown skin or to be the T in LGBT. And I'm not going to be any less of a human. And I'm going to wake up tomorrow and the rest of my days and be me. And I'm not going to be afraid of what this new tomorrow might bring, because I refuse to live in fear, and I refuse to let somebody else dictate how I'm going to live out the rest of my life and make decisions for me. And I don't think that any of us should have to live in fear, and I don't think that any of us should have to change any of our colors for anyone or anything. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say, and really wanted to just vent out how I was feeling. So thank you guys so much for listening. Sorry this had to be so sad and serious. I'm personally ready to get back to happier noted videos, and I'm ready to just help make a change in this world. Definitely looking forward to seeing you guys in my next video, which is going to be on a happier, much more glammed up note than this one. And until then, you guys don't forget to work hard, slay harder, and in 4 years, vote smarter. See you then. Bye.